We'll actually be banning out that Hayabusa.
As promised by Soso, team manager, shout out, that they go for the Hylas, they go for the Granger as well, and now they've gone for the Alpha quite early on. And usually that Alpha shows up when, one, you're up against some really beefy HP heroes, like for instance the Hilda, a known counter to the
Don't forget to like and
kinda
comment. Thank you.
Chunk her down is the Alpha. And number two is if you require the fast clearing speed. And against a Suyo, I guess clearing speed becomes something that's quite valuable. But along with that, they've banned the Fanny as well. Can't let that go. And for FLCN Esports, still so much emphasis on the Yve and the low Yi for the mid lane. And technically the Yve is a known strong hero for wins as well for the side of RRQ. So those two mages along with the Mathilda. Now, technically, if you look at it, Trevin, we talked about how the Mathilda, the sustain route, can be a way to deal with the Granger. But now FLCN Esports no longer have that option.
And even for RRQ Hoshi, we usually see Alpha with Mathilda. Now the dynamic play of this Alpha, like he cannot really be over aggressive. Once you commit towards the Spear of Alpha, then you're in a way, whether you're cooking or you're cooked. And it's also a good matchup against the Aurora too, even though the CCs were there. And you know, he can still kind of tank up the damage wave from FLCN Esports. As we're going to take a look at the banning phase. In the second banning phase here, Lucas gets taken away. They don't want to see that, you know, what animal is he, by the way?
Lucas?
Yeah.
He's a secret beast.
It's not a wolf?
Looks like a wolf, but you know, you never know, right? It's just referred to as a sacred beast form.
In the world.
But yeah, no Lucas, so no potential for a crazy aggressive EXP laner for RRQ Hoshi. So far at least, no Lucas that can dive in the backline. But for FLCN Esports, there's no real vulnerable backline to see anyhow. And for RRQ, the fact that they ban away the Cho, are they concerned about the pressure, right? The jungle interference? Are they concerned about the pick-off potential? Well, they answer with a jawhead themselves. So far, it's not the tankiest lineup for RRQ Hoshi, but the fact that they have a fighter jungle might just equalize, you know, and allow them to have the superior frontline tanking potential.
Okay, so a good matchup for the Granger will surely be an Airtel, but it's also present a concern too, right? Because it's not really the greatest threat towards the front line of RRQ Hoshi, even though against the Jawhead, I think it's kind of decent, especially if you bring a Purify, I guess. So
it can be.
There's a possibility that they're gonna pick maybe a carry if they want to play that route.
Ooh, a carry.
But a bit too risky there, but it looks like it's gonna be a Moskov instead. Using the long lane potential, especially in the late game, they have more options to go with. But Dangarashi, not really the greatest win rate in the roaming area, but they actually picked it in the roam.
Right, so good stopping potential. Considering RRQ Hoshi has a very front-to-back type composition so far, it's a potential to flank, it's a potential to catch the Granger off guard.
Wow.
But now with the with the pick of this Farsa man, all the long range, and if you want to stand and brawl, they have more than enough of that as well. And technically, they have a lot of pick-off potential for RRQ Hoshi with the Jawhead, the Feather Airstrike, the Spear of Alpha. So many ways for them to nuke someone down immediately. And for FLCN, I dare say, not a single person on their team can really withstand that.
Don't forget to follow and subscribe. Thank you. Kanjut.
Gets pulled into the initial 1v4. I don't think they're coming out alive.
Yeah, so they're gonna play a bit more responsive here compared to RRQ's aggressiveness. But we're gonna see here, RRQ, they need this W so bad to be able to qualify to the next round. King of Kings facing off the lone representative of the Myanmar. Hylos T-posing just for the vibes. We're gonna see here who's gonna win as Padang is gonna welcome us in the light of dawn.
Ooh, look at the plays, look at the moves! Bam!
Bam. Directed by Michael B.
Snapdragon Pro Series, let's go! And already, a bit of an aggression here. I do wonder, again, for both teams, what's the strategy here? Where is the chess match gonna take them? Is it the gold lane where RRQ technically have an edge with the the very meta Granger that has secured 2 Savages? Or is it going to be a mid lane thing? Because especially with RRQ, they like to play with the Rin's Edox synergy themselves. Looking at the emblems right here though, Festival of Blood and Thrill for Toy using the Granger, so a good bit of sustain. But even the Farsa here, knowing that there's going to be a dive attempt, there's going to be tries for Falcon Esports to kind of dive in the backline, goes for the tenacity on that Farsa. It's something you're seeing, just as a precaution, as always.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a good time here for Benny, man. There's just too much long-range potential coming in from RRQ, as this might be the first skirmish. No, looks like they just want to play it safe and farm up just a little bit until Sutsujin gets his level 4, which he did. Now the question is, the first objective fight, Arashi. I feel like RRQ should be favored here, right? Question mark?
I do believe so, with the region advantage that Dairon will have with the Glorious Pathway and the Revitalize, and also the fact that Edok on the Jawhead is a tank but also has a decent amount of damage. I feel like they should be able to find something.
My goodness, the chase and the flicker by Edok, and that's the first kill for this Jawhead. Good one for RQ.
Great timing. And again, the pick of potential, the pick of threat is just so dangerous.
Oh, not letting up just yet though. Dex might be in trouble here. The stun comes through. Dex still able to get away with the dash. And this might be a concede towards the turtle. And even Falcon, they're just trying to get this turtle purple buff in peace, man.
Oh, alright, Edok getting knocked around. But he's way more survivable. Look at that. Whoa.
Oh, feathered airstrike on towards PX7. One more HP or one more hit will do it. But no, Royal Milk got chased down by Edok. Doesn't have the ejector just yet. And Jumping Jacks is done by Royal Milk. Benny with the Spear of Destruction connects. But looks like RQ just going to bounce out and regroup.
The fact that the pick-up attempt from RRQ is on such a low cooldown, Edok going for the ejector isn't an ultimate. And it doesn't always require a battle spell. So at any moment, there could be a random Spear of Alpha, there could be a stun coming out of Rins, there could be an ejector. So the multiple threats that RRQ can show, can flash over at Falcon Esports, makes it quite difficult for them to predict, what exact route RRQ are going to try and go for.
Ooh, mid lane though, there's a skirmish there. Edok gonna get bounced on. Oh, boys forward. Dax gonna go out with the CC immune there, but Sutsujin takes the cake towards Kid X. 2 kills towards Kid X already. But down row, Marashi. Is this a concern?
I feel like he just loses out due to the lack of tankiness so far. He has damage, but again, in these fights, he's also the one tanking the damage. You can't really do both and get away with it. In the bottom lane though,
Benny getting ganked by 2 people here. Rin still saving, or doesn't have the ultimate just yet though. But it's still a good harass there towards the bottom lane. As no, Benny's not gonna go back. He's playing it bravely.
there's a lot of pressure from RRQ as well, just showing themselves like that. Like, look at this though, Edok.
Oh, no dashes, or one more dash is still able for Dax, but Edok gonna get caught up with the aggro from the turret. Royal Milk gonna get pounced on by Sutsujin. You can see the damage already, the true damage, but it's not enough just yet from Sutsujin.
That's close, man. Edok almost got punished for that. Another wave is stuck on the side of RRQ, and maybe Dairon can take advantage of that to bully Royal Milk even more. Because, you know, Phobius is a very all-in type of hero, and Hylas actually likes going up against heroes like that to stack up the pulses of damage that he has from the second skill. Now, as the turtle shows up here, we'll have to see, man. The bush control that the Jawhead requires isn't available to RRQ just yet.
Yeah, and Dairon is gonna be the one who's checking the bush though. Royal Milk might be the target here. It looks like it's going to be Girex, actually, and one more hit will do it. Sutsujin might take that one. It's actually Rinse, even though he doesn't have that feathered airstrike just yet. Royal Milk in the front line. Frigid Glacier connects on towards to Edok, and also Dairon still taking a lot of damage in the front line. Rinse gonna catch up with the flicker, but Dax wants the kill, wants some HP and kill and gold for himself. Sutsujin trying to chase again. The hits cannot go any further. And that should be it for those two. Who wins at that time?
Oh, I don't know, man. That was such a chaotic chain of affairs there. Especially because Falcon were actually able to secure the turtle in that fight. Dax, as always, especially on the Suyo. It's no surprise that he's able to go for a steal there. But the fights are actually a lot closer than you would expect. Especially in that kind of drawn-out format, I really do feel that you're seeing Falcon Esports gain a bit more value when RRQ are unable to actually get the decisive pickoff. Fortunately for them, they were able to delete Kid X almost immediately, but afterwards, when they're duking it out, you can see that Dax was able to come in and like do a lot of damage. Royal Milk was able to hit everyone at the same time. RRQ, if they want to keep having this dominance, they have to avoid clumping up together here, because it seems like that's a big concern.
Okay, Edok and Sutsujin trying to help Toy get this one. Kid X might be caught in a bad situation here. Benny with the Spear of Destruction goes forward. Getting caught up in the Spear of Alpha. And that's a kill towards Toy 2, in fact, with Sky Pierce as well.
2 kills for RRQ. Falcon Esports just desperate to hang on to the turret, trying to make sure that they have some kind of semblance of control. It is traded back on the top side, but with 2 kills, and again, with the stacks potentially coming into the hands of RRQ, they're just pushing the tempo here. Edok going for just a walk under turret.
Just evading the freezing potential there from PX7. And look at this. The stacks Arashi from Tyrant towards Warrior. This is why Hylas is still pretty much one of the best heroes to counter this one. Edok, this might be a solo kill. Ejector, or there's people there trying to help him to get this one. The passive's not going to go through for Rince, just 1 hit away, as Benny was able to get away.
But by doing that, right, even though they were unable to get the kill there, it kind of puts worries in the mind of Benny there. He wasn't expecting that. Now he's going to be a lot more careful when he's moving around, trying to go for some kind of split push pressure. But look at Falcon rushing down the turtle. This is their plan.
3 items already for Toy, stacking up the items. Sujin gets the Retribution instead of Dax. Kidak's gonna be brought back by the Ejector, and that should be another kill for Toy. The Rhapsody gets him. Another Sky Piercer stack for the gold laner of the King of Kings.
Wow. Decisive moves from RRQ. Noticing the blitz attempt, immediately zoning, threatening with the glorious pathway, and Sujin actually getting the turtle there. That's a great win for RRQ. And they're gonna extend it even more by going for the top side.
And the XP difference. Even PX7, he was 2 levels behind just now. He gets level 8 finally, compared to Rince's 9. And RRQ right now, they're just rolling through the Falcons in the air. So we're gonna take a look at the gold leaderboard, Arashi. Something is very appealing on top there.
Well, Toy definitely is farming up a storm, so is Sujin. This is how they have to play, right? Alpha's one of Alpha's strongest aspects is that farming speed after all. But not too far below is Benny, right? Only 2,000 gold below if you look at the gold lane matchup. Definitely not ideal. I think we saw him secure the golden staff earlier. He's gonna require more than that, especially if you look at Dyron. He's actually doing very well for himself. And if he itemizes properly, for now at least, Benny still will not be able to shred that Hylas down at all.
Yeah, this is the question, I guess. Like, the Tyron and Edok has been pretty disciplined so far in opening the bushes. Edok didn't really overextend too much, at least only 1 kill so far towards this Jawhead. And Tyron will be the actual buddy in the front for RRQ. PX7, the Breath of Ice is gone! 1 more hit will do it, but no! Rince just missed a frame from that feathered airstrike.
Ooh, that's Royal Milk with the hero play as well, blocking the shot coming in from Toy. But this is the danger. Even if you have some clear in your team for Falcon Esports with Aurora, with the Moskov as well, all that damage came from so far away with the feathered airstrike and the Death Sonatas that RRQ Hoshi are able to threaten even under the turret. And I don't think there's any time here for Falcon Esports to even get in position.
Yep, absolutely no way. So it's been already level 13 compared to Texas 12, I believe, which is, not gonna lie, it's a bit better than I expected it to be, even though this is an alpha that's snowballing.
Alright, at least for now, Falcon Esports can still clear the jungle. But with this Lord, what's the idea here? RRQ Hoshi can go for a multi-lane push, like a 3-lane Lord push, or they can stagger it and go for multiple base turrets individually, right? In theory, if they want to make use of that pick-off potential, they want to have more chances to try and go for it. And right now, Sujin has that Winter Crown, so look for a possibility for him to go in and kind of bait out some of the reactions coming in from Falcon Esports.
For sure, and Tyron has another item in the bag. It's Athena Shield just for PX7's damage, so he can be roaming around freely in the front line for RRQ. It gets harder and harder as the time goes on for Falcon Esports right now. They're marching to the base. Edok though.
Look at
Still
Kid X
playing.
though.
Wait, something here? Get caught up.
Kid X is on the back, going for some kind of maneuver here, but the towers are falling, man. He needs to push the tempo.
Okay, Kid still trying to find something here. I think Rince kind of spotted up. No, Rince does not know him. And Kid will just try to play it safe. No Rince. Uh-oh, do they want to actually go for that? But RRQ just want to play discipline. They want to get the top lane. Try to play it little by little. Shin, goes in. Still has the Winter Crown to bail him out. Still gonna go down either way by Dax though. It looks like bodies are falling. It's going to be RRQ losing 2 members. And Toy actually getting a retaliation there. 2 for 2 so far for Falcons and RRQ Hoshi.
Oh man, an equal trade, but all things considered, 3 turrets down for RRQ and Toy.
Oh,
Wants all the smoke, man, moving forward on the Granger. Not really threatened by any kind of hit-back potential from Falcon Esports. That's unfortunate that Susujin was able to be caught so far out in the front, kind of left alone, overextended a little bit. And look at this, they're still sticking around right here, RRQ.
yeah. It's just caging the Falcons in a birdcage. And the thing about Toy is he has the Fighter Emblem and a Festival of Blood, as you said earlier, Rashi. So I don't think he needs to recall anytime soon. If he gets to like 1/3 of HP, he can just heal up with the minions and also with the camps as well. So we're just very comfortable just staying here. As 3 shots of Mr. Toy was able to get PX7 down to half HP, even with the Blood Wings passive.
It really seems like the front line for Falcon Esports is still durable enough to tank some of those shots. But when it comes to the back line, dude, 3 shots, half HP, even lower, that's just dangerous, man. Especially, again, if it's just comboed with a very quick feather airstrike, that could be it. That could be a backline member gone for quite a decent amount of time. By all means, we're only at 12 minutes right now. Death timers aren't crazy. But with this pace, man, there's so much that RRQ can try and find and do in 2 minutes. As we take a look at some of these items, glowing wands available for PX7 on the Aurora. It's going to cut down on all this regeneration, and it's a value item considering the Festival of Blood on the Granger. The shielding and healing coming in from literally everyone, the Alpha, the Hylas as well. And now Benny finally with the Trinity and the Malefic Gun. This is a massive power spike, but is it enough? Dairen only has the Dominance Ice completed, but I believe he's working on one more physical defense item immediately already.
I think it's going to come down to how Rince will execute this Feather Airstrike, because so far Benny does not have a single magic defense item that he can use to be able to kind of deter the damage. Meanwhile, we're a little bit gonna get dove on by the Spear of Alpha from Sourche. The kill goes down or goes to Toy. Benny and crew is so low, and this should be it. RRQ will take the game. Game number 1 against the representative of Myanmar in a convincing fashion.
Talk about finishing strong right there. They wiped out the whole team, sending a message, reminding Falcon Esports that you can't take us lightly, man. They were controlling that game the whole time. And it really just seemed like whatever Falcon was trying to do, RRQ knows the solution, the solve immediately.
Don't forget to like and
This is
comment.
a very
Thank
good
you.
start for RRQ Hoshi if they want to make it to the playoffs, right? I think that's the main concern on everybody's mind right now. And back to that game, RRQ being able to control so much of it, even from the early game. I think the composition that was drafted for them also was able to accentuate that play. Very quick rotations, huge repression onto the Moskov. And this is something that is kind of concerning, right?
Don't forget to follow and subscribe. Thank you. Kanjut.
Portions to the mid game if they have a reliable source for the late game. But the problem was Benny, being that source for the late game, was behind 2K the entire game. So he was always at least one or two items behind of a Toy. So how? What should they repair coming into the next game?
I feel like there's a multitude of factors right here. For instance, the lane matchup between the Granger and the Moskov, between Toy and Benny, that's one thing that you're highlighting, Eterna. But along with that, right, the Badang came out of nowhere, and you know, immediately that Baloric pick that Falcons are kind of known for comes to mind. But we've seen what happens when a Baloric goes up against a Granger. So technically, there are multiple matchups here that kind of denies the usual comfort tools that Falcon has used to gain that edge, that advantage in the control department. So because of that, the Badang is squishy. Royal Milk also is tanky, but he can't do everything on his own. Whereas RRQ, they're playing for this pick-off style. So just like that, all the frontliners get threatened, and eventually, there's just no way for Falcon to actually control any kind of ground. And when that happens, when the Jarhead gets the bushes, when RRQ are able to set up, we know that they like playing this tricky playstyle. And I think Team Falcons just have to try and find a different solution here.
I do believe that this is the first time that KidX has actually used the Badang in the roaming position, if I'm not mistaken, right? According to data. So he's usually known for heroes like maybe the Tigreal, right? That was something that we did note from their last match. KidX getting his hands on a tool that can change the course of these team fights. Like you mentioned, right? That could also have been a factor.
I really think they didn't expect for RRQ to go all in on the pickoff there. Because even look at Royal Milk, he did less damage than Dax, you know, and Dax's usual approach is to go in, of course, do some damage, but also there's a lot of emphasis on the neutral objective. Usually you see Phoveus's do a lot more damage because he's just doing jumping jacks in the middle of this massive team fight. And we saw RRQ not particularly play in a way that counters Royal Milk. They didn't spread out away so that he can't get multiple AoE procs of that demonic pursuit, in front of pursuit, sorry. So all that considered, Royal Milk just couldn't survive long enough. And we've seen how essential Royal Milk's dominance in the lane is to the control for Falcon Esports. That's something that they have to try and fix. And at least they have to try and fix one of these issues in the gold lane or the EXP lane. Because technically on paper, you know, both side lanes just aren't doing so well, and it's just so difficult for them to do anything with their stronger picks like the Suyo, like the Badang even in the early game, especially when the side lanes can't really participate.
Yeah, like you look at the damage with distribution from Falcon Esports member. DX7 was doubled by Rinse. Even Mr. Benny is tripled by Toy. So you can see the disparity of the room, I guess, that they actually have in that game to be able to operate. Look at this in the first few minutes, and this is the early game potential of a Jawhead. Man, oh man.
Well, it's the Jawhead and also the Alpha, you know, the Hylas. Look at the amount of sustain that they have, man. You know, just built into their kit all the way from the early game. Perhaps Falcon Esports, if they really don't feel that confident, there wasn't really any need for them to go so all in the early game too, right? They have in a way, a pretty solid late game. They have a Moskov. They have tools that they can use to later on play that macro game. But they really thought that they were going to have the edge here. And RRQ just made sure that that wasn't the case.
And I think that's the problem of having such a textbook kind of playstyle, right? Because Falcon Esports, they're so used to playing around the objective game. So despite them not really having the proper tools and the proper resources to kind of battle it out against RRQ Hoshi in the early game for the neutral objectives, it looks like they still forced the issue, and hence the gold gap just kept on getting further and further apart. And so RRQ Hoshi just really steamrolled on that fact, right? They didn't really have to go for anything crazy. All they needed to do was respond to the overzealousness in terms of decision-making coming in from Falcon Esports. And what was the gold difference? Like, did it reach 10K? Because it was quite huge. It was like 6K, 7K at some point.
I think it definitely...
Her head was down, face locked onto the phone. And I wished I had a number so I could be color unknown. And then I tell her, look into my eyes and never let it